The sun began its ascent over the Serengeti plains, painting the tall grasses gold and breathing life into a tranquil new day. It was the magical golden hour, where the light is softest and everything seems to slow into perfect harmony. At the heart of this serene picture lay Nala, a majestic yet gentle lioness. She rested on a low rock, her amber eyes lazily scanning the territory, never straying far from Leo, her curious, energetic young cub. Leo was the embodiment of endless curiosity, a little ball of pale yellow energy, with all the innocence of youth. He was currently chasing a vibrant butterfly, a splash of playful chaos in his mother's ordered world. Nala watched him with a soft, contented rumble, the silent assurance of absolute security. Their world was one of freedom, unlimited sky, and the unending protection of motherhood. But even in paradise, danger lurked, unseen and unfeeling. Driven by a moment of curiosity, Leo wandered too deep into a patch of dry bush. It was one step too far. A sharp, mechanical snap rang out, followed by the agonizing tightening of rope and mesh. Leo's young paw was caught in a sophisticated, cruel poacher's snare. The wire mesh and rope cinched tight around his torso, instantly paralyzing his leg and stealing his freedom. Leo's frantic scream tore through the tranquility. His peaceful day, in an instant, had been replaced by ultimate fear. Leo's shriek was not a roar of defiance, but a cry of sheer terror. The cold, hard steel wire and rope had him locked down, leaving his small body numb with pain. His first reaction was pure instinct, to fight. He struggled with every ounce of strength, but every desperate wrench only tightened the snare, the inanimate metal digging deeper into his flesh. He panted, panicked, the fierce pain turning his curiosity into a terrifying nightmare. He collapsed onto the ground, body shaking, looking helplessly toward his mother. Nala arrived in a flash. She charged like the wind, her eyes blazing with fury and heartbreaking pain. A primal, deep, and desperate roar tore from her chest. It was the sound of a mother witnessing her child being brutally harmed. She saw the thin steel wire, the cruel mesh, and Leo's fearful eyes. Her hunting instinct told her to crush the obstruction, to use her powerful jaws and claws to tear the trap to shreds. She tried to bite, to pull the rope, but she hesitated agonizingly. She knew a strong bite might sever the cord, but it could also fatally injure Leo. Her immense, raw strength, the pride of the predator, was now useless, paralyzed by the fear of hurting the one she loved most. Nala growled in frustration, her ears flattening in defeat. She stood there, a monument of majesty overcome by a simple, thin wire. Time stood still, in that life or death moment. When all hope seemed lost, Nala made a decision completely contrary to her species' nature. She realized the truth. Her enemy wasn't the trap, but her lack of knowledge about it. Only humans created this snare, and only humans possessed the tools and understanding to remove it without killing Leo. Nala looked toward the distant asphalt road, a black ribbon stretching across the edge of the savannah, the boundary between her wild world and the dangerous world of man. It was a terrifying choice: confront her most dangerous enemy to save her son, or stand by and watch her son slowly perish. Maternal love won out over primal fear. It compelled her to take an unprecedented action. With breathtaking care, Nala bent down. She used neither claw nor tooth to tear, but gently mouthed the scruff of Leo's neck, the position a mother lion always uses to move her cub, a gesture of absolute protection. Leo, despite the pain, felt his mother's warmth and resolve. Under the rising sun, Nala began her movement. She turned her back on the safety of the savannah and headed toward the main road. The lioness's pilgrimage for life, a journey based on impossible trust, had officially begun. The trek to the asphalt road was a grueling trial, a testament to Nala's endurance and unimaginable tenderness. This was not a hunt. It was a slow, painful, deliberate pilgrimage. Nala's every step was meticulously calculated. She had to navigate towering, scratchy grasses and thorny brush, terrain that a healthy lion would traverse easily, but which now became a terrifying obstacle course while carrying a trapped body. She held Leo with just enough pressure to stabilize him, not too much to crush his throat, but not so little that he would fall. For Leo, the journey was a continuous series of sharp, agonizing jolts. Each step from his mother made his constricted body sway, the ropes biting deeply. He whined softly, small sounds of suppressed misery. Nala heard, and she responded with gentle, persistent rumbles near his ear, a wordless apology, a promise, and a constant reassurance. I am here. It will be okay. Exhaustion slowly crept over Nala. Her muscles were taut, her breathing labored, but her will, driven by the fierce fire of motherhood, never wavered. Finally, after seemingly endless steps, Nala reached the edge of the main road. She placed Leo down gently by the blacktop, a place that didn't belong to her, a place she should have avoided. She nudged Leo softly with her nose to ensure he was as comfortable as possible, but her gaze was fixed on the road, where the large machines of humans occasionally sped by. Nala knew time was running out. Leo needed immediate release. She turned her back on the security of the wilderness, lifted her head, and let out her call. It was not a territorial warning, nor a chilling hunting call. It was a deep, continuous, utterly mournful sound, a desperate, repeated cry for help. Its tone carried the confusion, the pain of Leo, and the surrender of a proud creature facing insurmountable helplessness. Nala was calling for attention, calling for compassion, placing her fragile hope in the very species that had caused this disaster. And then, the miracle appeared. From a distance, a dusty patrol vehicle, belonging to the park rangers, slowly topped the hill. It was Jack's vehicle, a seasoned ranger who had dedicated his life to protecting this land. Jack was driving when Nala's strangely anguished roar reached his ears. He stopped his truck. The tension was immediate and absolute. Jack, who had witnessed countless dangerous scenarios, was confronted by the scene. A healthy, powerful lioness growling fiercely next to her cub caught in a snare. His first instinct screamed a direct threat, but as Jack looked closer, he recognized the anomaly. Nala's eyes held no hunting intent or aggression. They held a bizarre mix of absolute protection and a silent plea. Jack, with the keen intuition of a man connected to nature, understood. Nala had not come to hunt him. She had come to ask for his help. She had placed her son's life in his hands. It was a moment of ultimate trust, a reluctant cooperation between two worlds. Jack quickly radioed for backup, but he knew veterinary support would take a significant amount of time to arrive. Leo didn't have that time. The pain and the tightening snare could cause permanent damage or death. Jack made the bravest, riskiest decision of his career to act immediately. He turned off the engine, a non-aggressive gesture, and cautiously opened his door. With absolute respect for Nala's boundary, Jack slowly stepped out, carrying his emergency bag containing specialized wire cutters and a mild sedative/painkiller. He moved slowly, keeping his eyes on Nala but avoiding a direct, challenging stare. He spoke softly, his voice even and calming, and though Nala couldn't understand his language, she could sense his intention. Nala responded with a deep, fierce growl, a powerful warning, but she did not charge. She did not move. She stood as a protective wall between Jack and Leo. It was a reluctant trust, a silent agreement. You may approach, but only to help my son. If you have any other intention, I will respond. This moment was the most vivid proof of maternal love. Nala had suppressed her wild instinct, placing her hope in a stranger for the survival of her cub. Jack knelt beside Leo, within reach of Nala's deadly claws. He applied a quick dose of painkiller to the constricted area, attempting to alleviate some of the cub's suffering. Then, with steady, professional hands, Jack began his work. He started cutting the vicious mesh. Each wire was snipped slowly, deliberately, avoiding any sudden movement that would startle Leo. The sharp snip echoed in the tense silence. Leo still whimpered in pain, and Nala growled continuously, her hot breath misting the air just behind Jack's back. Jack had to maintain absolute focus, allowing no fear or trembling. One wrong cut could injure Leo, and one sudden movement could break the truce and end the rescue. It was a dance of survival, where human courage merged with the lioness's incredible restraint. Jack was not a conqueror. He was a servant in that moment. He was the tool that Nala's love required. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of tension, only one last strand of rope remained tightly cinched. Jack exerted all his strength, carefully cutting through it. The final cord broke. The metal trapped and rope fell to the ground, useless and silent. Leo felt his body go limp, a wave of relief washing over him, though his wounds still ached. Jack backed away a step, maintaining a respectful distance. His mission was complete. The moment the final cord snapped, a quiet sense of relief settled over them. Nala wasted no time. She immediately moved forward, nudging Jack back with a firm but non-hostile gesture, re-establishing the boundary between mother and cub. She lowered herself beside Leo. The aggressive, panicked growls were gone. Instead, a soft, continuous, deep rumble resonated. That rumble was a soothing balm, a silent thank you, a confirmation of life. Nala began to lick Leo's wounds, an act that both cleaned them and imparted warmth and security. Leo whined softly, but this time it was a sound of solace. He rubbed his head against his mother, responding to her care with a loving gesture of dependence. The moment the two lions rubbed against each other, set against the backdrop of the hard asphalt road, was the ultimate symbol of connection and love. They were whole again, protected. Ranger Jack stood motionless, having retreated a few steps, allowing them the necessary space. He sought no praise or photographs. The moment was theirs alone. After a few minutes of rest and recovery, Nala lifted her head. She and Leo turned to look back at Jack one last time. It was a long, deep gaze, free of hatred, free of fear. It was a silent acknowledgement, a thank you beyond words, bridging the chasm between species. In Nala's amber eyes, Jack saw the sincere gratitude of a mother, an admission that humans, despite being the creators of a danger, could also be the deliverers of hope. Jack responded with a small, respectful nod, an acknowledgement of Nala's extraordinary courage in trusting him. Without further hesitation, Nala nudged Leo forward. She slowly led her still stumbling son off the cold asphalt road and back toward the safety of the wild grass. They merged into the gold of the tall savanna, disappearing back into freedom, leaving behind both the tragedy and the fragile hope that had come true. The story of Nala and Leo is not merely a tale of wildlife rescue. It is a profound lesson. It proves that maternal love is a universal force, a flame that overrides both natural instinct and ingrained fear, compelling the lioness to seek help from the very species that caused her son's plight, man. It is also a moving affirmation of the tireless role of park rangers like Jack. They are the silent heroes, fighting day and night against inhuman poachers' snares and unnecessary cruelty. This story is an urgent call for the necessary compassion and protection of wildlife. If Nala can risk everything for hope, so can we. We can choose to be the ones who set the snares or the ones who cut them. If the story of Nala and Leo touched your heart, take action. Please click the links below to support anti-poaching organizations and equip rangers like Jack. Every contribution is a cord cut, bringing hope to an innocent life. Be a silent savior of the wild.